Hi friends, my name is Michelle Fondin and I'm the author of The Wheel of Healing with Ayurveda, an easy guide to a healthy lifestyle. In past videos, I've spoken about you being able to get a copy of my book in Italian if you pay for postage and in Portuguese. I have extra copies. I would be happy to sign the book and send it along to you as long as you pay for shipping. I also have first edition copies of The Wheel of Healing. This one is actually called The Wheel of Healing, an easy guide to an Ayurvedic lifestyle. This is the first edition. I have many copies of this first edition, and I'd be happy to send you a signed copy of the first edition of my book. If you send me $7 via PayPal, I'll ship it out for free. I'm really shipping this to you at cost. It's really my gift to you to give you this signed copy. You can order some for friends. This first edition is essentially the exact same book as the second edition. There are small variations, including major editing by my publisher, New World Library, but I'd love to give you a copy of this first edition book if you go to PayPal, and I will have on the screen below the PayPal user ID that you can go to send along $7. Make sure you put down your mailing address. That's in the continental US. Shipping is extremely expensive when it comes to books, especially internationally. If you live outside of the US and you'd like me to send you copies of this first edition, go ahead and shoot me an email at michellefondinauthor@gmail.com and I can go ahead and send along a copy. Shipping will of course be a little bit different then, but I would be happy to do so. Today in Ayurveda Answers, we're going to talk about heartburn. This is an extremely common condition, especially today. This is a Pitta imbalance. If you look at heartburn, heartburn is excessive acid reflux. Excessive acid reflux comes when the esophagus pushes up acid from the stomach into the area of the esophagus, and that acid comes towards your mouth, creating this burning sensation and this very unpleasant sensation that can be very disturbing. It can prevent you from sleep. It can prevent you from being comfortable during the day. And oftentimes people have this worrisome sensation since they feel like there's actually something wrong. The problem with heartburn is the lower esophageal sphincter, the LES, that doesn't close properly. Normally the sphincter closes. It's a valve that opens and shuts. In a normal person with normal sphincter behavior, what happens is you let food come down when you're eating, and then afterwards that valve shuts completely and it allows the food to digest. It allows the stomach acid to digest that food properly, and that sphincter stays shut during digestion. However, there are some common problems, and as I refer to it as a Pitta problem, I will explain that in a moment. There are common problems that you can look at through lifestyle if you're experiencing heartburn sensations. The first thing you need to look at is overeating. If you eat too much food, this can fill the stomach to the top and cause that LES, that sphincter, to open up and release stomach acid. Your stomach needs some room to digest food. Those stomach acids need to be there to do their work. You don't want to reduce those stomach acids artificially because they're actually needed to help digest your food properly and to assimilate the nutrients into your bloodstream and to other organs in your body. The second thing is improper beverage consumption during the time when you're eating. That includes alcoholic beverages. Alcoholic beverages are actually a culprit to heartburn. The alcoholic beverages actually can burn holes into the esophagus, burn holes into the stomach. Alcohol is extremely acidic. It can add to the already acid-filled stomach that you have, and it can be very harmful to your health in the way of your digestive system. Another thing is drinking carbonated beverages can actually cause those bubbles in your stomach, again, bloating the stomach. And when you have burping sensations, when you have that extra gas, then some of that acid from your stomach can creep up into your mouth. The third thing you want to look at is, and this is an Ayurvedic perspective, is drinking iced cold beverages when you're eating. Your stomach has to remain at a particular body temperature, just as your body does at 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. And when you drink icy beverages or iced cold beverages, what happens is the body has to work really hard to bring your body back to its normal temperature after consuming these beverages. Same thing with your stomach acid. Your stomach acid is hot. It has to remain a certain temperature in order to effectively process the food that you've ingested. And if you're drinking that icy cold beverages, what you're doing is you're putting out that digestive fire called Agni in Ayurveda, and you will experience more digestive disturbances because of that. And so stay away as much as you can. Drink room temperature water, really, is the only thing you should be drinking during mealtime and whenever you're consuming any type of food. Room temperature water. It's very simple. It may seem a little unpleasant in the beginning if you're not used to drinking room temperature water, but rest assured, your body will feel better and you'll get used to it very, very quickly. Let's look at some foods. You want to stay away from citrus fruits, citrus vegetables, sort of, a combination of something that's too citrusy. Tomatoes are an example, and I say vegetables because even though tomatoes are a fruit, most people consider them to be a vegetable. Citrus fruits such as limes and lemons, if you're adding lemon and lime to your beverages or to your food in excess, just be careful because that's going to create hyperacidity, and that's also going to exacerbate the heartburn that you're experiencing. Another thing you need to look at is vinegar. And again, this is super subtle. Normally you're not consuming large amounts of vinegar, but think of things that are brined in vinegar, such as pickles, jalapeno peppers, hot peppers, or even vinegar added to your salads or dressings. Another thing you need to consider is not having foods that are too hot and spicy. Now, this goes back to the Ayurvedic principle of Pitta, which is comprised of fire and water. Now, hyperacidity, as I mentioned, is something that is increased Agni or increased fire in your bodily system. You want to be sure that you're not increasing that digestive fire too high. Pitta types often already have a fair amount of fire in their mind-body type, and they don't need more of it. When you consume hot, spicy foods, or even foods that are pungent in flavor, such as onions, garlic, or ginger, those types of foods can increase the fire in the digestive system and cause you to have hyperacidity. So lowering the amount of hot, spicy foods will also lower the acidity in your stomach, especially if you're a Pitta type. So looking at how you eat and what you eat is super important here. Now, I already mentioned not overeating, and it's really difficult, but pace of eating is going to help you moderate exactly how much you're eating. So you need to eat slowly. You need to eat at a very reasonable pace. All too often with this crazy, chaotic, and frenetic lifestyle that we experience is that we often sit down to eat and we're shoveling in food very, very fast into our mouths, and we don't even realize what we're eating, and we don't realize how fast we're eating. So eat at a slow, moderate pace and stop eating when your stomach is satisfied and not completely full. So let's look at Pitta again. In an Ayurvedic diet, Pitta types should be consuming more sweet, bitter, and astringent tastes. Let's see what this looks like. The sweet taste comes from your basic carbohydrates. So we're talking about grains, sweet fruits, butters, oils, meats. And so let's look at this a little bit. So if you're a Pitta type, you would eat things like mangoes, ripe pears, ripe bananas, whole grains such as brown rice. You could add buckwheat, quinoa, millet, oatmeal, things like that. The fats that you should be consuming would be something light, such as even coconut oil for cooking oil, light safflower oil, canola oil would be really good to cook with for a Pitta type. And then you would have some cooling herbs such as cilantro. Let's look a little bit at the bitter taste. The bitter taste would be most of your vegetables, most of your leafy green vegetables and vegetables in general tend to have a bitter taste. And let's look at the astringent a little bit. The astringent taste is going to bring you things like soybeans, edamame. You could look at tofu, or you could look at beans and lentils. You can also, again, the dark leafy green vegetables are also going to bring you that astringent taste. Pitta types, when they're experiencing heartburn, or if you have excess acidity in your mind-body type currently and you're really experiencing this state of imbalance, pay attention to things like caffeine or caffeinated beverages, which do have a tendency to create that hyperacidity, even teas and coffees. Just go ahead and lower the amount of tea and coffee that you're drinking. You will notice that the acids in your stomach tend to lower. Now let's look at emotional health. Pitta types tend toward anger, frustration, and perfectionism. If you find that you're getting angry more frequently, that you are becoming frustrated and critical, or that you find that everything you need to do has to be in perfection, know that these are Pitta imbalances. To counteract these emotional aspects of Pitta, meditation is great. Getting outdoors, appreciating nature, swimming, being near large bodies of water, taking nice deep breaths, doing pranayama such as Nadi Shodhana, which I explained in a last video, going into the Dirga, the 3-part breath, or doing Shatali, the cooling breath, is a great way to calm and cool Pitta. Remember, Ayurveda is all about going to the root cause of the problem, not masking it with drugs, not masking it with pills, but really understanding that lifestyle is everything, your emotions are everything, and really going toward appreciating a better lifestyle without using external forces, but going internally and finding out what is wrong here. Wishing you the best, wishing you health, happiness, wholeness. Please, if you love these videos, support me on Patreon, www.patreon.com/Michelle S. Fondin. You can also purchase any of my books. That's extremely helpful in keeping these videos going. Wishing you perfect health always. Namaste.